All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're diving deep into the world of sous vide cooking. Not just the how-to, but the why it's become such an indispensable tool for professional kitchens. We're talking about a technique that has completely redefined what precision and control really mean for us.
I love this quote because it really cuts to the chase. Latent organoleptic potential. Sounds fancy, right? But what it really means is unlocking the absolute best flavor and texture from every single ingredient. You see, sous vide isn't just another way to cook. It's a total shift in thinking. We're moving away from just relying on intuition, that chef's touch, and adding a layer of hard science. We're talking thermodynamics. We're talking microbiology. And that gives us a level of control that, frankly, was impossible to get consistently during a crazy dinner rush.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We'll start with what I call the precision revolution. Then we'll get into the science of flavor, followed by the nitty-gritty of the professional workflow. After that, a super important section on mastery, safety, and control. And finally, we'll wrap up with the fun part, the creative final touch.
All right, Section 1, the Precision Revolution. This is all about the shift from pure culinary art to a blend of art and science. So let's start with the big question. Why sous vide? What did it bring to the table that we didn't already have? Well, it boils down to one word: consistency. Absolute, bulletproof, repeatable consistency. So at its core, sous vide, which just means under vacuum in French, is pretty simple. You seal food in a bag, you pop it in a water bath that's held at a super precise temperature. That's it. But the story of how it entered the professional kitchen is really interesting. Back in the 70s, a French chef, Georges Prelus, was struggling with cooking foie gras. The yield was always terrible. He tried cooking it sous vide, and bingo, the texture was perfect, and here's the part that makes the accountants happy, he lost way less product. That was a huge deal.
And this, right here, is the absolute holy grail for any professional kitchen. Perfect results every single time. This is the game changer, folks. It means that the steak you send out on a quiet Monday lunch service is identical to the one you send out when you're 200 covers deep on a Saturday night. It just takes all the guesswork and variability out of the equation.
Okay, moving on to Section 2, the science of flavor. So we've covered why it's so revolutionary. Now let's peel back the curtain and look at how it actually works. And I promise it's not some kind of culinary magic. It's just straight up physics, and it all comes down to the power of water.
10 times. Think about that. Water is about 10 times more efficient at transferring heat than air is. We think of a hot oven as being powerful, but air is actually a pretty lousy way to cook something evenly. It's turbulent, it has hot spots. Water, though, it completely surrounds the food, transferring heat gently and, most importantly, evenly from all directions. It's the key to that perfect edge-to-edge cook.
And this slide shows you exactly what I mean. Let's talk about something called delta T. It's just a term for the temperature difference between your cooking environment and your target food temperature. On the left, you've got a traditional oven. You're blasting a piece of meat with, say, 200-degree heat to get the inside to 55 degrees. That massive gap creates that gray, overcooked band on the outside. But look at the right. With sous vide, the water is at 55 degrees. The delta T is 0. So, guess what? The food can't possibly overcook. It just can't. That's what we mean by absolute control.
All right, Section 3, the professional workflow. So we know why it works, we know how it works. Now, how do we actually fit this into the day-to-day chaos of a professional kitchen? Let's talk operations.
Okay, first things first, you need the right gear. And to do this properly and safely, these are pretty much non-negotiable. Obviously, you need a vacuum sealer. A good chamber sealer is best for handling liquids. You need an immersion circulator, which is the brains of the operation. Good quality food-grade bags, of course. And this is the one people sometimes forget but is absolutely vital in a pro setting, a rapid chiller. And we'll get into why that's so important in a bit. Oh, and a reliable digital thermometer, goes without saying.
The entire workflow really breaks down into these 4 key stages. First, you package. You season your food, you seal it up. Simple. Second, you cook. You drop it in the preheated water bath and let it do its thing. Now, step 3 is the crucial one for prep. You chill it. If you're not serving it right away, you plunge it into an ice bath to stop the cooking and get it cold, fast. This is a critical safety step. And finally, step 4. Regenerate and serve. When an order comes in, you just bring the product back up to temp in the water bath, give it a quick sear, and it's out the door. This cook-chill system is what makes you so much more efficient during service.
Okay, let's move on to Section 4. And honestly, this is the most important part of the entire discussion for any professional. Mastery, safety, and control. We're going to talk about HACCP.
Because at this point, precision isn't just about getting a perfect steak, it's about keeping your customers safe and your business open.
So let's just tackle the elephant in the room head on. Is it actually safe to cook food at these low temperatures? It's a fair question, right? And the answer is yes, if you know what you're doing. Because you're right to be cautious. A low-temperature, low-oxygen environment is a very specific playground for certain types of bacteria, and you have to manage that risk with absolute precision.
And here's the main culprit we need to worry about: anaerobic bacteria, specifically nasty stuff like Clostridium botulinum. This is the bacteria that causes botulism, and it loves environments without oxygen. So managing this isn't optional. It's about having a documented, validated process for time and temperature control. In the professional world, that means one thing: your sous-vide process has to be part of your formal HACCP plan, period.
Now, this table is your best friend when it comes to building that HACCP plan. It shows you that pasteurization, making food safe, isn't about hitting one specific temperature. It's a combination of temperature and time. So look here, you can get the exact same level of safety by cooking something at 70 degrees for 2 minutes, or you can cook it lower, at 65 degrees, as long as you hold it there for over 9 minutes. This isn't guesswork. This is the validated science you need to prove your process is safe.
All right, so you've pasteurized your food. You're safe, right? Not yet. Here's your next critical control point: cooling. The cooking kills the active bacteria, but some can leave behind tough little heat-resistant spores. If you let that food cool down slowly, those spores can wake up and start multiplying. That's why you have to crash cool it. We're talking into an ice bath and then into a rapid chiller to get it below 5 degrees Celsius in under 150 minutes. Again, this is not a nice to have, it is an absolutely essential safety step.
Okay, last section, the creative final touch. Now that we've nailed the science and the absolutely critical safety stuff, we can get to the really fun part. This is where sous vide transforms from just a reliable cooking technique into a powerful tool for creativity.
We're going way beyond just cooking a perfect protein here. Think about rapid infusions. You can infuse an oil or even a spirit with intense flavor in minutes, a process that used to take weeks. Or compression. You can take something like watermelon, vacuum seal it, and completely change its texture, making it dense and almost like sashimi. And of course, tenderization. Taking a cheap, tough cut of meat and cooking it for, say, 48 hours to turn all that tough collagen into rich, mouth-watering gelatin. It's a game changer for food cost and creativity.
So your steak comes out of the water bath. It's perfectly pink from edge to edge. It's cooked, but it's not finished. It looks a little gray and boring, right? It's missing that beautiful crust, that deep, savory flavor. That's where the final crucial step comes in, the sear.
Whether you use a ripping hot cast iron pan or a blowtorch, that quick blast of intense heat triggers the Maillard reaction. That's the chemical process that creates that beautiful brown crust and hundreds of complex new flavor compounds. And this is where you get the magic combo: an incredibly flavorful, crispy crust on the outside with that perfectly tender, juicy, edge-to-edge, medium-rare interior that sous vide gave you. It really is the best of both worlds.
So it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is precision the final ingredient of culinary creativity? I think some people worry that a technique this scientific might stifle creativity, but it's actually the complete opposite. By taking the guesswork out of the equation, by giving you a perfectly reliable foundation every single time, it frees you up to be more creative, to innovate with confidence. It's a platform to build on. Thanks so much for joining me today.